Okay. All right. I picked As Good as It Gets. I actually hadn't seen it for about, I don't know, maybe 20 years or 10 years or so. So it was interesting when I saw it again after I had recommended it. So I'll start with what Wikipedia says. As Good as It Gets is a 1997 American romantic comedy film directed by James L. Brooks from a screenplay he wrote with Mark Andrus. Stars Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt, and she's a single mother with a chronically ill son, and Greg Kinnear as a gay artist. As Good as It Gets premiered in December 6th, 1997, and was released theatrically in the United States on Christmas Day. It was a box office hit. It grossed $314.1 million on a $50 million budget. At the 70th Academy Awards, the film was nominated for 7 awards, including Best Picture. Nicholson won for Best Actor, Hunt for Best Actress, making it the most recent film to win both the lead acting awards. It is ranked 140th on Empire Magazine's The 500 Greatest Movies of All Time. It basically is, the film follows Melvin Udall, misanthropic, obsessive compulsive romance novelist whose life takes on an unexpected turn as he develops relationships with his gay neighbor Simon, an artist who gets brutally assaulted, and Carol Connolly, a waitress and single mother who works at Melvin's favorite restaurant. What I wanted to do was explore some of the strengths and the weaknesses of the film. But I think the two big questions that I want to ask everybody is, how does this hold up today? Could it be made today? And the other thing is, how does it portray mental illness or OCD? I thought one of the strengths in this movie was the acting by far. Helen Hunt, I think, does a phenomenal job. And actually Nicholson did very well too. But the problem I had on watching it recently was the Melvin's character was so misogynistic and anti-Semitic and homophobic and everything, that it actually took me by surprise, because I didn't remember having that strong of a reaction to him, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whenever. So I thought that was interesting. But I just wanted to just say a few other things about it. The soundtrack was actually nominated for Academy Award as well. And as we know, the box office did really well, but it was just number 3 behind Titanic and Tomorrow Never Dies. So it really did really well. The thing I thought was interesting was that there were people in the movie that they were either doing cameos, or it was just little bits that they were taking. So one of them was Harold Ramis. Remember Ghostbusters? He was in it. Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother, and Maya Rudolph. All of them had little parts in that movie. Another interesting point is that it was actually Jeffrey Rush, and if you all know who he is, was actually offered the role of Simon. But he didn't take it because of, I guess he declined it. Betty White, she was also offered a role, I think, as the mother. I'm guessing, that doesn't say, but I was guessing it's the mother. However, she wouldn't take it because of the dog being thrown down the garbage chute. And Tony Shalhoub wanted to be Simon, but they ended up, of course, with Greg Kinnear. Owen Wilson was an associate producer, and it was one of his first jobs in Hollywood. And it was Nicholson and Brooks actually bucked heads on the set because they had to figure out the way they were going to, that Melvin was going to be played. So, and last one, well, anyway, that's about all I have, but I just thought it was interesting how I had a completely different idea this time seeing it than I had maybe 10 years ago. So, what'd you think?
I think it could make it today. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Maybe even more meaningful today.
You know,
Then-
what did you think of the age difference between the two of them?
26 years, actual
Yeah.
biologic age.
Awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was awkward. Too. That kept crossing my mind repeatedly during the film.
You mean between Nicholson and Hunt?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've just never been able to buy Jack Nicholson as a leading man. It's like 5 years later or so, but he did that Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton. And it's like, really? You picked him over Keanu Reeves? What?
Well, that's true.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't so much the age difference. It's just like, you know, there's a lot of things I really liked. I have liked Jack Nicholson in, but as a leading man, not so much.
You know, but historically, by reputation, he's had lots of girlfriends.
Oh,
Yeah.
that may
So
well be, but I did
he's
just
got
come
some
across
kind
as like,
of-
yeah.
Some charm or
Yeah.
something.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is either, because he can be kind of weird. Just a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And he's not handsome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I
I
think it
didn't
was
feel like the
cute
romantic
when he
character was a
comedy.
was,
stretch.
Which
Yeah.
both of these, you know, the Something's Gotta Give and, you know, As Good as It Gets, and romantic comedies. And it's like, yeah, well.
I
anyway.
think when he was younger, he was
Yeah.
cute. When he
Yeah,
was
I
young.
think he was pretty charming young guy,
Yeah.
you know.
I thought he was the same guy in that the two Navy guys.
Last detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but who,
right.
you
Tell the
know,
truth.
how can you forget the scene where he picks up the phone? He's got Greg Kinnear in his bedroom and she calls him. And before he picks up the phone, you know, he does this and this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
He does have that nuanced, you know, it really
Oh.
is
He
pretty
got
good
acting
for
legs
him.
out the rear, but he is kind of a strange guy, and like you said, maybe not classically handsome. But his nuances, his little, like the picture behind me, his little side eye was like, I'm not sure I should do this.
You know,
It's
to me,
just subtle. It just happens in a flash, but it
yeah,
carries so much context for him.
I think his eyebrows are so arched that they always have that look of being kind of devilish or impish or something. That's, I mean, every time it's like, oh, those arched eyebrows.
which is why he's so great as the Joker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has
Or
to
what
do-
was that one with Cher and the three in which he played the devil? And
Moon,
with,
Moonstruck? No.
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 I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I'm here
No.
all
You
week.
mentioned Cher.
Oh, the
It's
Witches
a
of
little
Eastwick.
word.
Eastwick.
I
The
think
Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah, yeah,
Susan
Yeah.
Sarandon and
yeah.
whoever
For
the
me,
third was.
if there was one of those, you know, who would you like to have as your ideal dinner partner for conversation? Jack Nicholson would be right at the top.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
he's, I know, maybe he's not a leading man, but I think he's magnetic, and I'd, you know, love to spend time with him.
Yeah, and like everybody that does a decent Jack Nicholson impression, it centers on their eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Including Greg Kinnear in this film.
And yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he did a pretty good one. Yeah.
As an observer of eye sockets and eyebrows, though, I got to tell you that his upper lids are at least as influential as his brows. They're very heavy, and he does things with them to narrow his eyes, and there's a lot of skin there that he can work with, and that it's a chemistry there. It's not just the brows.
You probably, yeah, I'm sure.
I found myself thinking about both of them, Nicholson and Hunt, and obviously other people did too because they got Best Actor.
Mhm.
awards that year, but their facial expressions, both of them, it just, I don't know why, it just seemed to be particularly on point when I was the same way as you, Donna. I hadn't watched this for probably 25 years or whatever it was. And it just struck me this time about the expressions.
Yeah, this is a movie of close-ups. I mean, these are one scene after another where, and if you've got the face to express it, it
Right.
carries it, it
And
carries
the
the story
dog
along.
too.
Say what?
The dog too.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well, Burnell-
that's what I did not remember. I did not remember such a pivotal role for the dog. I mean, the dog
Yeah.
is repeating all the all the expressions and all the nuances going back between the actors, and it's almost like an extra member of the audience that you would be sitting next to and going, "What'd you think of that?" And the dog going, "Yeah, well."
This was before CGI too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that was one well-trained dog.
Did you remember the dog being having that big a role in the movie? I didn't.
I
I
did.
did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
he
I
he
kinda
he,
did,
he,
and he
he
was-
made that in many ways he made the movie just that much more fun, you
Yeah.
know.
And I think animals can bring out the best in people, more so than people can bring out that. I mean, and some animals can just, you'll see an awful person, but they will adore their dog. So yeah, I really, what was her name? Vernell, I think.
The dog was
Yeah.
Verdell.
Verdell, that's
yeah.
right. What a name, Verdell.
All right, go ahead and get this out of the way so you guys can, pummel me for it later. The arc of all these characters, him going from a grumpy old man to, a dog lover, and even paying for her son's treatments, giving Greg Kinnear a room. I mean, he now it wasn't
Yeah.
perfect arc because he kept backing up and having to reinvent that. And then she went from being, aloof to him. Everybody in Greg Kinnear, everybody in the movie changed places,
Mm.
made the whole thing work.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
But that's what's so good, though, the arc of the characters. Now, do you think did you like the ending?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What did you think? They will walk off into the sunset?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
stepped on a crack and it didn't bother him.
Yeah.
See, that for me, that was kind of a nice Hollywood, but
Yeah.
Right.
that doesn't usually work out so well for people that are really that deeply enmeshed in their OCD.
Yeah, that's what I figured, that they probably,
But-
Hollywoodized.
Yeah, but
Did you guys know-
so there's also the question that comes out with whether you're reading a rom-com or you're watching a rom-com. Is it a happily ever after, or is it a happy just for now ending?
Mhm.
And so that was my question. Do you think happily ever after or happy just for now?
Well, I
Well,
thought he was such a horrible person, and yes, he's changed, but do you forget all the things that he said? I mean, that he said to people that was so awful. I mean, I
That was
had a
his
hard
shell,
time thinking.
though. That was
Pardon
his
me?
shell. I mean, he was under his shell when he
Yeah.
did that stuff.
He
And
was
when
hiding,
he broke out of the shell, I think I could buy that.
But he was starting to take medication, wasn't he?
Right, I thought that
So-
was,
So he was getting maybe better. So
Well,
you,
and
you
one of
could
the
say it
lines
was a
was
happy ending.
she made him want to take his meds.
yeah,
So he could be
He
a better
said, "You
man.
make me want to be a better man."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of
yeah, that was a
quote from
great
that.
line.
the big line. Yeah.
And the close-up,
but-
the camera, when they move in on her, when she receives that line, to me, was the highlight of the movie.
yeah,
There were other
Yeah.
things that followed, but that was the heart grabber.
yeah. His
Yeah.
last speech to her was good, really good.
Is OCD a mental illness?
Yes.
Mhm,
Is it?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
And then he said he overshot it because he just didn't want her
Yeah.
to leave. That's funny.
I just gave you the greatest compliment. She said the best compliment of my life. And then he says, I may have overshot.
Yeah, he didn't know how to. But Karen, how do you think that they handled the OCD? I mean,
it was convincing. I mean, when it was consistent. What will trouble me in those kinds of movies when they don't do it as well as when it's, you know, sort of, well, when it fits the plot, he has it, and when it doesn't, he doesn't. But I was pretty happy with the portrayal. But coming back to your question, Donna, about could they make it now? I think one of the things that they would do very differently now is they wouldn't cast a straight actor as the gay character.
well, probably not.
Yeah.
Although, you know, I'm of that ilk that I think an actor is an actor and should be able to play anything.
And you're entitled to that, but what I'm saying is I don't think that would happen in Hollywood right now.
Probably. And I also don't
Kinnear
think
is straight.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Married and has 3 kids.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
And a
not that
dog.
that means anything all the time.
Well,
but-
no.
He convinced me.
Well, Greg Kinnear's he's a good actor.
He is a good actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
I've
he's got a hell of a range. If you think about him in, for instance, We Were Soldiers, he's a helicopter driver in Vietnam. And I mean, that's just serious as a heart attack kind of role. And then this and
Little
lots of
Miss
stuff in
Sunshine.
between. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know much about his career at all. And when I looked up what he had been in and saw the depth of his career and then how he played this part, I was impressed. Because the only thing I knew of Greg Kinnear was that he had a chatty talk show 30 years ago. Okay.
Yes. I
And-
can't remember the name of it, but
Talk soup.
oh
something like
yes,
that,
I
yeah.
think that was it. Yes.
And that just kind of threw me off him, and so I was impressed by his range in the movie, and then he just, you know, his entire filmography.
Can you imagine Jeffrey Rush in that role?
No.
I can't. I mean, it would be like, what? And he was offered the role first. And Jeffrey, you guys know who Jeffrey Rush is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's Australian, I think.
yeah.
He spells his name right.
Which makes him Australian, right?
Yes, right.
I thought it would have been interesting if Cuba Gooding Jr. was the Greg Kinnear character.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
that would be, Mike, actually, yeah, that would be. Because he was so, you know, so racist and homophobic. Oh my
It would have
God.
just added another element of him.
Another
when he-
dimension,
When he
yeah.
offers apartment to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would he even take his dog?
Yeah.
yeah.
Donna, where did you think it would have crossed a line today?
Well, I thought that was the most problematic is when he was talking to the young, I assumed, or he assumed Jewish couple in the restaurant.
Oh, who are in his table?
Yes, that were on his table. I was just like, I can't, you know, today I think the entire restaurant would have taken him and thrown him out, you know, out of the restaurant. It would seem, I would hope anyway.
Well, they all
Because-
clapped when he got kicked out.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did,
it
and
was
which was
great.
great, yes. But and then they actually left and he gets and sits down and that's where I thought, wow. And I don't remember being that upfront, you know, that much, being that strong against it at 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whenever I saw it the last time. So,
I was curious how altruistic he was because he offered the private doctor only so she'd go back to work and serve
Right.
him.
it
Right.
was all about him, yeah.
Mhm.
It was all
Or
about,
at least that's all that they let you believe it was, Mike.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Well, initially, and then as it grows more and more, yeah.
They actually referring back to anti-Semitism, I think that's a greater problem now than it was 10 years ago, or certainly 30 years ago. when
And
it's-
maybe that's why I responded to it so strongly this time, and I don't remember responding that strongly 10 years ago. I'm sure, that's his character, but that's where I thought I don't think they could do that now or would do that now. I don't know. It's kind of like back then, it was kind of like the Archie, he was kind of like Archie Bunker. But if you ever look at the old Archie Bunker, I mean, the stuff he said and did was like, wow, pretty amazing. And all we did was laugh at it.
It's such an extreme example of that kind of attitude that it's like, yeah, you couldn't stand to be around somebody like that. But
Exactly.
he was a prototypic bigot, obnoxious white guy, and that's what made his interaction with Gloria and Meathead and everything else work so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was so far to that side, I thought. I just can't resist saying this. Did you guys notice that the dog jumped over cracks on the sidewalk too?
Yes.
Little
I
touch.
thought that was great.
Yeah.
Well, IMDb commented on that,
Yeah.
Dr. Jeff, that they had actually put something in the cracks raised up so the dog would have to jump over it. But then when they made the film, they edited out whatever
Oh.
it was that they had put in there so that Verdell would have to hop over the
I
crack.
wondered how they did that.
Yeah,
was
that's
a cool guy.
oh,
Smart, huh?
Yeah.
Now I'm destroyed. I thought he did it.
I know.
Yeah, I am too. I said earlier, he was a really well-trained dog with all the facial expressions. Now that
Yes.
makes me wonder what the hell they did to.
Well, guess what?
I'm not sure, but I don't think OCD is contagious to animals.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, one difference between him and Archie Bunker, I think this Jack Nicholson character, he was a pretty intelligent guy, wasn't he? Author.
Oh, yeah. He was
Oh,
a-
yeah.
of
Romance
romance
novels.
novels of all things.
Yeah. And that's the other kicker is that when he talks about, how do you write women so well?
Yeah.
I take a man and take out all, I don't know.
But we didn't
Yeah.
know it. We didn't learn his background until 20, 30 minutes or more into the movie. I mean, we had no idea
what
what
was
he
it?
did
Yeah.
What
or
was
the
it,
type of
background?
books that he wrote.
They were romance.
What was the line, Donna? Is like, I imagine a man and take
And
away.
I take away
Accountability
emotion
and
reason or
reason.
something.
And accountability. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that's,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was so awful.
He was.
But the age gap and then him being such an awful person. And I know I don't know, sometimes I wonder about them actually going off into the sunset. I think they might for a while, but he'd really have to come around, I think.
Yeah,
It's all about
Aaron, I think it's
Spencer.
a happy ever after, well, not happy ever after, happy for now.
Happy for
For the
now, like
next
Karen
scene.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure a
Me
guy
too.
with those sort of bigotries would survive or be accepted in even romance circles in Manhattan.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean about if we were
Right.
making it now, I think it would be really hard.
Yeah.
Plus I would make it with different actors that were closer in age, as opposed to the two of them. I don't know. I never really got the chemistry, although I guess I did. I sort of did and sort of didn't. It was just, I had a hard time understanding why she was even thinking about being with a guy like him.
Well, she
I-
wasn't really. I mean, he continually tricked her into being with him
Yeah.
one way or the other,
Yeah.
leverage, things like that. She didn't really want to be with him.
well, I think
So
picking up Spencer's medical bills, would be a big attraction.
Well,
I
sure.
thought that's the
of
whole
course.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, then it's so transactional. It's like, ew.
Yeah, well, true.
But I
Exactly.
think the credit I give the character is that she was peeling an onion, believing that there was some goodness in there somewhere.
Yeah.
She finally hit it, and it made all the effort worthwhile. I don't think, I don't think the character as I received it was transactional. It was just another layer that got pulled away to see that maybe he's good at, good-hearted.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that was
then what
attractive.
was their motivation for that? To peel away the onions? I mean, I don't think he was giving any signals at all to anybody that, he was a softie or could change.
Right.
Well,
I
all
drink
I can, she's a waitress and her job is to serve regardless. And she just stayed the course until something good came out of that.
And she put the boundaries up,
I thought you could see the turn when she called him and asked if she should bring a dress.
Oh,
And so you knew something might
Yeah.
occur.
Were we going to go somewhere fancy or not? Huh?
And then he turns around and slams her and calls her dress a house dress
Yeah.
because he was mad because he had.
That's what I mean. How much of
That's
that
just
could you
reverting
take?
back.
yeah.
Yeah. how
Well, it
much-
was, the relationship was like a ping pong. I mean, he'd do something good, and then 2 seconds later, it'd be the other end of the equation. And I wanted to say specifically, is there anybody that we know, especially on this phone call, other than Gary Whitaker, that could wear white and dark blue saddle shoes?
What?
No, is the answer to that question.
No.
I'll give it a shot.
Well, Chris is wearing white. Chris has got on a white top. She looks good in it.
No, saddle, a loafer, saddle Oxfords.
Oh, the saddle
Shoes.
Oxfords. Oh,
Shoes.
okay.
Saddle shoes.
Yeah, if you haven't been around Whitaker in real life lately, he wears flamboyant shoes
And driving gloves.
and driving gloves.
Good.
When I saw this movie the first time, I really disliked it. I thought, we'll probably never go see another Jack Nicholson movie again, and that was rough for me because I really liked Jack Nicholson. And I thought it was all about this age difference and everything. It's like, to me, he was like at the end of his career. He didn't pull it off. I was kind of like in shock that he won Best Actor for this. But watching it this time, there were a couple things they did to try to reduce that effect. And one of them was they talked about it early on. He said something like, "Aren't you kind of old?" Do you remember that interaction they had? And she said, "Oh, aren't you kind of young?" Or he said, "Aren't you kind of young?" Or something like that. And then they went on about their business. But the other thing was that she had that relationship with the younger guy. And I thought, it was their way of saying, hey, this age thing is, let's not focus on the age thing. So I looked at it differently this time. I looked at more at the mental health aspects of this movie, and I liked it a lot better because of that.
And your original dislike for it was because of the age difference, or
The age difference? I just felt like, I'm in there and Jack Nicholson is going to be doing leading man type things now after a great long career. It seemed like it was winding down to me at the time. And it kind of repulsed me really that he was going to be doing leading man roles with younger women and stuff like that. It was like, kind of a thing they talked about in Hollywood all the time. Still do, I guess.
It was art imitating life.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they did recognize it in the film that they were doing that and tried to address it in certain ways,
Mhm.
So by the time I got done watching it this time, I thought, yeah, he was probably pretty worthy of Best Actor. Especially, I was looking at the list of the people that he was going against. It was
What were some of the other films from that year? I meant to look for that, and
Titanic was
Matt
one.
Damon and Good Will Hunting,
Oh,
Robert
wow.
Duvall and The Apostle, Peter Fonda in Uly's Gold, and Dustin Hoffman in Wag the Dog.
Those are the nominees that year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
Mm.
I would have picked Matt Damon over.
Yeah.
Mhm, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such. I love Good Will Hunting.
I
That's
did too.
Great
Yeah.
movie.
What did they won for what? Best
The
picture?
Screenplay, I think the two of
Or
them.
best
They both-
screenplay
they
or-
came up. Yeah, the two of them came up, for the
Yeah.
award. They were
Yeah.
such babies. Oh my God.
Well, it's not always fair. Sometimes Shakespeare in Love beats
Yeah.
Lighting.
Sometimes Moonstruck wins.
no. Saving Private Ryan loses to Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
World's not fair.
Yeah.
Fair's in Sedalia, Gary.
Say what?
The fair's in Sedalia.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Chris, you've been very, very quiet.
Oh, I'm just observing.
What'd you think, Chris?
Well, at first, I mean, I'm no Pollyanna, okay? But I had forgotten his behavior, how flagrant it, oh my gosh. And I was really turned off by it. I thought, do I really want to watch this? And of course, it comes to mind how much society has changed since 1997 and our outlook on individuals that are different in some way from us, whether it be race or sexuality or whatever. I did notice that his being a novelist, that was his cover, or like Jeff Copeland said, he was hiding away his real self and his real feelings under this author. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Being an author, he brought out romance novels, which he could not be that person in real life. He had to be an ass and treat people badly so that they wouldn't know that he had this soft romantic side to him. But it came out with Carol.
It's kind of like Finding Forrester,
Oh, yeah.
where the author was up in his house and didn't really let anybody in, and gradually let the kid come in and sort of took him under his wing and so forth, and revealed himself.
Hmm.
Jeff Arthur, had you seen this movie before?
Yeah, a long time ago. I didn't remember the dog at all.
Me neither.
That's
I didn't
funny.
either. I was surprised when I saw him.
No, Chris, what did you
Really?
think was the worst part?
The worst part? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, what was it that offended you the most?
well, I don't know, the first hour. I don't know if I
Tell us how you really feel, Chris.
Yeah.
really feel.
Well, did you change your mind about him as he changed?
No, he's still the same person. He's still an ass. He was just behaving because he wanted the woman. Sorry, I have been in. Never
There's a
mind.
lot of onion skin to peel back on him, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, you still don't.
It's the leopard spots, right?
So Chris, you're in the happily for now category rather than happily ever after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me.
I think I'm there with you.
Yep.
So you think the gesture towards the attitude towards the dog, the gesture of letting the neighbor move in, those didn't change your mind about him?
No, he was just allowing a little bit of his good self come out and try to be nicer. But still, I can't help but think that awful person was in the beginning is still there. And he would, even though he let Simon move in and he fed the dog bacon and he was nice to Carol and took care of her son, you can darn well bet when he went out into public, he was still had his OCD didn't go away. He went to the psychiatrist's office, remember, and he just barged his way in, and the guy told him, no, you have to have an appointment. And when he came out, the waiting room was full of people, and he said to them, this is as good as it gets.
I think he said, what if?
Yeah.
This is-
What if? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But, he mentioned that, and I thought, oh man, no, I don't, that's too much of a change. I don't think that he would be able to completely, he would eventually revert back to being the
You don't think that
ignoble person that he was, so
being on his meds may have made a difference?
maybe.
You know, a
Not
movie-
enough.
He was genuine. I think he was genuine. I don't in his, what he did for Simon, what he did for the, for Carol, what he did for the dog and all of that. It's not that I think he's disingenuous about this. I think it would be particularly hard for someone with his mental health concerns to sort of just completely lose that disdain for others. It's like, okay, it used to be just me. Now it's me and Simon and Carol and our dog, but it's just the rest of you fuckers, I have no use,
Yeah, that's
and that's kind of, that's what I see. That's why I think it's a happy for now. I don't think she in the long run to in a long-term relationship with someone like that, I think would be particularly difficult.
Yes,
Don't know that it would survive without
I agree.
sort of her just sort of giving up, her.
Herself, yeah.
I know Hollywood may have changed since, but a movie that's made for 50 million, and I assume 30 million of it probably went to Nicholson.
Yeah, probably.
But a movie that then turns over 300 million, I've got to believe that people went to see it on opening weekend, and when their friends said, "What was that like?" they said, "It's great. You will like what you see." And people told people, it's not a Marvel movie. It's not a Titanic. It is a close-up, emotional
Yeah,
movie
redemption.
that people told people. I mean, you don't get 300 million in one weekend. That is a long rollout. So I got to believe people embraced it and liked it and thought, my wife and I had a good time. You guys should. I think you guys will have a good time. I think you'll like it. So I think it had some legs because it was a likable movie.
Yeah.
28 years
and
ago.
I think its release over the holidays buttressed that. And it said, okay, you want to go see a nice semi-light romantic comedy on one of these nights over the holidays? Try good as it gets. So I think.
And also back that time, I mean, there were still so many homophobic people. When were gays allowed to marry? That wasn't until like 2011, right? Something like that.
Don't ask, don't tell. It's kind of the late 90s,
Yeah, that's right. Don't ask, don't tell. I mean, so what I liked Greg Kinnear, and I thought that he brought people started looking at gay people as, real people, where I think prior to that, because our society was so homophobic, that if you didn't know gay people, you didn't know anything about them. And this one at least gave you this person that was such a good person and such a talented person that you just could not help but like Kinnear.
Yeah.
And so, you've got that, he's gay, but I really like him, but he's gay, that kind of, and I think that just helped the movie,
Did it really even
Nicholson.
show that he was gay? I mean, other than him saying he was gay, I don't remember it like a boyfriend or.
That's how the guy that sets him up to get beat up,
yeah.
Wasn't he just painting
He was supposed to be a model
portrait or something?
Yeah, he was supposed to be a model, and his manager went to the local area to pick up gay men. He didn't go to a modeling agency, so
Yeah.
Those other guys were brutal. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
They did a good job on his facial laceration makeup too. I thought that was pretty good.
yeah.
Did they?
Speaking of medical things, I had to think about access to medical care when the child was having so much trouble getting help, and then Harold Ramis came in as this kind, normal kind of doctor who you could get if you had money.
Yeah,
I thought, in some ways, not enough has changed since those days. It's still hard for people to get in. And in fact, there are a lot of barriers now to actually get in and see a doctor. You have to see a second tier or third tier provider before you can even think about seeing a physician a lot of times.
mhm,
That's a sad state of affairs. I think our society has not gotten a lot better that way.
I
Unfortunately.
agree. Yeah,
I was just looking through some stuff here on James Brooks. He was the director for this,
mhm,
and he's had some other pretty good movies. He really hadn't directed a lot of movies, but he did Terms of Endearment,
right,
Broadcast News, Spanglish, the Simpson movie, and those are the ones that I know of. But he did about 3 or 4 other ones. But I was looking down. He's also been a writer on The Simpsons for, I think, from the beginning.
He's one of the long-term creators of The Simpsons. Yeah.
yeah,
He doesn't have to worry about the next cup of coffee.
no.
Right. But I
Oh,
mean, that had to come into play here. He's a writer for As Good as It Gets, also.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at a pretty creative mind there.
yeah, yeah.
And
for
since
sure.
Nicholson had a similar kind of role in Terms of Endearment, he must really like him.
Yeah,
Well, and Helen Hunt was on a roll. She had just got done with Twister.
Mm.
Yeah.
she's really
Was
good.
Twister that long ago?
96.
Wow.
But there's a new one out. you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Of course there is. That's all they can do.
That's all they do. Yeah.
Jeff Arthur, is that your backyard?
Sure. No, I didn't have time to find a picture, so I just grabbed one that's in my inventory.
Oh,
It's actually probably in his backyard and what I.
Yeah,
wanted
they're a
see
little
this
late this
spring.
year, but yeah,
Really?
they're coming out. Yeah.
Is that Skagit Valley?
Yes. The
Looks
two
like
of
Holland.
yeah.
No, that's an actual place here in Skagit Valley.
Wow.
Huh. Are those tulips?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Wow.
beautiful up there.
It's raining today.
What? In Seattle? You're kidding.
Alert the media. Jeez.
Duly noted.
So I went to see a movie yesterday called The Friends with Bill Murray
And
Naomi Watts. It was one of the most joyless movies I've ever seen. I
really?
2
We-
hours
we-
will never
we
get
saw it.
back.
We saw
2
it a
hours.
couple. We saw it a couple weeks ago, Gary.
What'd you think?
Same thing.
Okay.
That's
Not good, huh?
I kept waiting for something endearing to happen. I don't, it doesn't need to be,
yeah.
puppets and balloons, but at some point something has to touch me, and nothing.
Well, I picked it out for us to go to, and I was scolded about my choice of movies afterwards. But if Ed Harris is in a movie and Bill Murray's in a movie, you think, oh, this is
It's gotta
probably
be good.
others. Well, yeah, and yeah.
There is a dog. There is a dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
yay.
go. It saved it. Yeah.
Really, that's the high point is the dog.
Well, looking at Jeff's background, I saw a kind of a black comedy. I think it's on Netflix or Prime, I'm not sure, called Holland. It takes place in Holland, Michigan. Nicole Kidman is in it, and it's kind of a black comedy and kind of strange, but is it worth it's interesting. Let me put it, it's interesting. Holland, Michigan, I guess, is also noted for all the tulips and the wooden, I have never been there, but the wooden shoes and the festivals and the people wearing, you know, the attire for people from Holland. So, but it's interesting. You know, Nicole Kidman is usually
Pretty good.
very good, whatever she does. Yeah.
What's in theaters these days? I know there's a
I
mind.
disagree strongly. That's a thing that'll get me to say, I don't think so to a movie is like, oh, Nicole Kidman, I'll pass.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
pass. I'm with you.
The Minecraft. I know there's a Minecraft movie that
I
did
want to see
Paid a lot of
the
money.
block.
the
blockbuster.
amateur with Rami Malek.
That comes out the 11th.
Okay. All right.
We're looking forward to seeing that too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Has everybody seen Adolescence by now?
I have.
Yes.
I've heard about it. It sounds absolutely awful to me.
So you heard what?
It sounds absolutely awful to me from what I've heard about it.
Well, it's kind of
Well,
it's not really an action show or anything. It's more of a
It's really well done.
introspective or
it's just very interesting about,
It's only 4 episodes,
yeah,
and every episode is one shot.
yeah.
The camera
cuts.
turns on and it doesn't turn off. Which Mahoney, if you can imagine.
I was just thinking. I was literally just thinking of that.
What? No B-roll? Give me a break. But they pull it off. I mean, it's drones and cranes and the things they do with the camera. If you watched it for no other reason than to watch it as an exercise in movie production.
Now, isn't the studio doing that as well? That's the one with Seth's, what's his name?
I've only heard about it. Is it one camera, one shot?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
it's one shot. And it's actually kind of interesting. I don't think it's all out yet. I've seen one. But they have cameos like I hate when this happens. You know, famous directors, there's famous actors in there that will do little cameo shots. So it's kind of fun to see them. Yeah, that's worth looking at anyway. See what you think.
What streaming service has that?
I think it's Apple Plus.
Okay.
I think so. But I'm not 100, but I'm pretty sure it's Apple Plus.
Has anyone watched any of the episodes of Mid-Century Modern that's on Hulu?
Yes.
Matt Bomer, Nathan Lane,
Yeah.
nobody else. It's funny, it's light, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt. It's like
kind of Go ahead.
yeah, it's predictable, and you know, I like all of them. I like all the actors. But I don't know. I was expecting Golden Girls for gay guys.
Oh, okay. So it's a bunch of guys living in a house together.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, Nathan Lane has the big house. Matt Bomer's character, he's like he's a
Rose.
flight attendant, and he's a Mormon who got outed. And so now he's got no place to live. They don't want him back, you know.
And he's not real
And he's
bright.
not the sharpest knife in the drawer. They go to one episode. They go to Vegas to see Donny Osmond because you know he's
that's his favorite. Yeah.
So it's
Whoa. What about why does Donny Osmond make sense?
he's
Because
Mormon.
Donny Osmond is
Oh,
Mormon.
Mormon. Okay.
Yeah, and you know Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond.
What gay Mormon boy wouldn't love Donny Osmond?
Yeah, he had posters of him all over his
Right.
bedroom. Yeah.
But anyway, it's on Hulu. It's like each episode is like a 25-minute.
Yeah.
It's not a big investment of your time, but I love Nathan Lane.
I do too.
Birdcage, he, is a movie I can watch repeatedly. And then and Matt Bomer's really good too. And then is it Linda Lavin? Is that who plays Nathan's mother? Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
And
she's in
she's
it.
really
Yeah.
good. She's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
It's dragging one out of the past.
Yeah.
I think she died. So
Burnwood tonight.
really.
Be I don't
Yeah.
know what this says about me, but I really want to go see Donny Osmond in Vegas
Yeah.
because
Always
He's
there.
Why? Yeah, why?
Yeah,
God.
he is a good entertainer. He
because
did.
they
I
they have
know.
introduced
Oh, no.
an
You know.
AI, some sort of avatar where when he's on stage, the grown-up Donny Osmond comes
Oh,
out and does a
yes.
duet with the young Donny Osmond. I won't,
That should be interesting.
Wow.
Well, he did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Raincoat,
Oh,
and he's
go ahead and
really
spoil it.
good.
Dream coat.
Go ahead
I
and
mean,
spoil it for me, Brett.
Raincoat.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I meant.
That's more like the Nathan Lane part of it.
what's under that raincoat?
Yeah. Trench coat.
Oh, we're going there. Okay.
Yeah.
We went and
Yeah.
saw the movie The Black Bag. That was
Oh, yeah.
that with Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. It's kind of a MI5 or 6 type of murder on the Orient Express. They have a bunch of suspects. They got to solve the problem, but it's okay. I mean, it's rated okay. I'd say it's a decent movie if you're looking for something to go out and see.
Bill, I give you credit. I think you actually go to the real theater more than the rest of us combined.
Well, we've been going on Tuesday nights. $6
Yeah.
gets us out of the house.
There you go. Good for you.
Bill, we saw it as well. I think I was hoping for more out of it. I mean, I think you hit it well. MI6 meets Hercule Poirot.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a little bit more. It wasn't as bad as the movie that Whitaker talked about a minute ago.
Yeah. Michael Fassbender has to figure out who the culprit is, and one of them is his wife. So he's she's a suspect too.
That's kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Isn't that kind of what that was about?
Yeah.
It didn't get quite that far, Donna. But
Oh.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Had
Yeah.
the potential to.
Less
I see.
action,
Okay.
more intrigue.
As soon as this meeting is over, I'm pretty sure we're going to watch the final episode of White Lotus.
I haven't even seen any.
Nobody's following White Lotus?
I thought I was turning on episode 3 last night, and I ended up turning on episode 8. So I could tell you what happens.
You want to know how far humanity has fallen? Just watch White Lotus.
Yeah.
It's us at our worst.
That's Apple Plus too, isn't it, Gary?
No, that's Max.
Oh, Max. Oh.
I do
Gary,
like
there's a basketball game later on.
Yeah, I
and
think I'm
one of the
watching that.
teams might be of interest if you can get White Lotus instead of the game. Maybe you think you can get the White Lotus before the game.
Well, the game doesn't start till
8.
7:50. That's when the broadcast starts. And White Lotus is only 50 minutes. So I think we can squeeze one in.
Okay.
Yeah, go Big 12.
Gonna be a night to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say that about that Texas team, but that's where I'm at too, Bill.
Houston.
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 You're
Who's
pulling
got
for
next?
Houston?
No, I'm pulling for Texas A&M.
I don't think they're playing.
They're not playing.
Keep pulling.
Yeah.
One of the
At least
Texas
they lost
schools.
their coach.
Who, A&M did?
Yeah.
Buzz
Hmm.
Williams.
He seemed, I thought that was a bit of a
That's kind of a
lateral move
sideways
at
or
best.
down move.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, Mike.
Okay, now everybody knows we don't have our pick yet, right?
Yeah, it's
Right,
me.
right.
Yep,
It's
my
Mike.
turn.
What's your pick, Mike?
It is going to be the 1960 movie Inherit the Wind.
Love it.
And one of the reasons for it is this is the 100th anniversary of the Scopes trial in 2025. And I think the actual trial started in late March of 1925. But yeah, it'll be Spencer Tracy and Frederick March.
Didn't you recommend that, or didn't we have that movie a couple of years ago?
Yeah, but
did?
it's worth watching again.
I don't
Great
remember.
film.
I don't
Sounds
remember.
familiar.
I don't remember it.
We
but-
did.
Yeah,
We did.
I recommended it, I think.
And the newer version with George C. Scott and trying to remember who played opposite him was pretty doggone good as well.
Yeah, there have been several versions of it. I think 4 of them total.
It's fantastic. I would watch that every year. probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's
that's
worth
my pick.
revisiting.
I mean,
Good.
I love you,
Remember
Mahoney.
where to
I
find
love,
it?
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that you're keeping us current by keeping us historic. I appreciate
Historic.
that.
well,
Historic, yeah.
actually, when you watch the movie, you were going to think about current events.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's some acting there. That is,
Mahoney, when do you see Dylan?
I saw him in Topeka on the 30th.
And what'd you think?
I thought it was a really solid show. I liked he did a really good version of Key West. I liked my own version of You, which is probably my favorite cut off Rough and Rowdy Ways. I didn't care so much for the rearrangement of When I Paint My Masterpiece, but yeah, I'll give him credit for it. He's he'll be 84 here in about 2
Wow.
months, and he's still out there knocking it out.
I was impressed about how powerfully he played the piano.
Yeah. I mean, when he first got behind it, he was just kind of plunking around, but and we'd only play chords. But now, he's very good on the piano,
I agree. It was good.
and he played guitar on the first couple of songs.
He didn't do that where we were.
Yeah,
No guitar.
He's done it a couple of times, and then there's some shows when he doesn't. But yeah, no, it was.
Did you see him here, Gary?
Yeah. Well, if he was playing guitar, I didn't notice. Hell, the lights are so low, you have to turn up your bat vision to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, the only white light on the stage is on his sheet music.
The
Wow.
they take your phone. For me, I didn't even bring a phone. I knew that they wouldn't. And what was interesting to me is without a phone, because I'm in the theater and I'm looking around and I'm seeing people. Normally, I would be texting people and go, "Hey, Mike Mahoney, I see you're on row 4. Hey, John Twitty, I see you're on row 12." Normally, I would be, dancing around and playing phone games. With no phone, there are no distractions. You have to listen to the music. You have to be engaged. And it is not, at least for me, it was not a star turn for Dylan. It was not Bob Dylan and a bunch of other people. It was an ensemble, and musically unbelievable. Now, you might complain that I didn't hear every word he said, or I didn't understand every vocal that he did. But as an ensemble, it was a great experience without any distractions from phones. It's been a long time since I've been to a non-phone event.
He's had consistently pretty good bands over the last certainly 25 or 30 years. And with the exception of his bass player, he's rotated people in and out of them, and he picks pretty good musicians.
Yeah, Anton Fig, I knew him from the Late Show with Letterman.
Yeah,
and solid. All right, kids, Inherit the Wind.
All right.
Do we know where to find it?
it is on most of the conventional. I forgot to say that. Most of the conventional streaming apps, you can get it. It's not hard to find at all.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Everybody
Thanks.
have a good Easter. We'll see you on the 21st.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Bill Barnhart, thank you for making this possible.
Yep.
Yes, thanks,
Yeah,
Bill.
thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
See you, everybody.
Okay,
night.
Great.
see y'all.
We
Yes.
there.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Uh,